Hey, hey, hey. Time for another out of this world story from our space. Wife turned on me after 15 years together. The truth behind her cheating is revealed. My 43 male, wife 33 female, and I have been together for 15 years, married 13. And 3 years into our marriage with 3 daughters, she turned on me. I had no idea what was going on and went through her phone one day and found out she had a boyfriend who had just went to jail. The conversation was with the guy's friend. I'm devastated, and I have some sort of weird breakdown where I went numb and then sort of fell down into a hole inside myself and had no control over the screaming that came out of me. It was extremely frightening, and the rest of the day after I was like a zombie. My wife witnessed it. I would jump at every little thing and found out later I had PTSD. She employs trickle truth, so it turns out she had slept with the friend as well, even though she was in a relationship with the other guy, and had even told him she loved him. There are many particular gruesome details that go along with her sex life I won't get into here. She wasn't remorseful, and I practically had to beg her back. We went to therapy, and this particular therapy was a joke. She became somewhat remorseful, and I can say loosely, things got somewhat better, and another child was added to our family. She had told me to make it even so I could forgive her, and she could forgive herself and we could move on. I was hesitant to do it. Never do this, by the way. And waited a year, but then I was with the woman twice, and I did amazingly feel better, and built, now we could both let this go and be better. I told my wife, and she burst into tears and was angry at me asking why I had waited so long. Another year or so goes by, and she seemed to change again. I felt something was wrong, but I couldn't prove anything. Very long story short, she had started a 2-year-long relationship with a mutual coworker of ours. I almost caught them because an errant messenger text had hit my phone through some sort of family sharing glitch, but she talked her way out of it. The way I found out about this infidelity was that a jilted girlfriend of a different guy outed my wife to me and told me she had been sleeping with her boyfriend. More trickle truth, but turns out she had slept with 3 other guys multiple times as well, for a grand total of 6 other men over our marriage up until then. I can't even describe it. I was going to leave her, but got roped into marriage counseling. Sometimes I hate myself for not leaving, but I didn't want to bust up our family. I came from a broken home. It's not fun. This is almost 5 years ago. I am severely depressed because I've worked so hard to keep everything together that I feel thin and invisible inside. I just signed up for personal therapy. She's been in therapy for the last 4 months or so, but I had to threaten to leave her to get her to do it. Now she seems personally committed. I'm away from my family right now because she can't work for the next couple of months, and I had to take a travel job 14 hours drive away, and I blame her because of all the sabotage. I don't get what I need from her, but she has this extreme guilt that I feel she uses to not address anything. She does hate herself, this is clear. So when she told me over the phone that she wanted to separate, I said, okay, and I felt scared, but so much relief. She didn't last 2 hours when she called back hysterically crying and telling me she never wants a divorce. She just felt she didn't deserve me, and that I deserved to have a good life, and she wanted me to have one. I recently threatened to divorce her, and she countered with marriage counseling. I've really been feeling hardcore like I want the divorce. My dad divorced my mom when I was 3, and I still see the remorse in him. He never remarried. I guess I don't want to end up like that. One thing I'd like to add is that I used to love her picture albums of all of us through the years. Now, a great swath of that time is tainted, and I can't look at the happy faces anymore knowing what had been going on for so long in the dark. Not sure what I'm looking for putting this out here, but I guess I just need to be heard. There are so many important details I couldn't cover because it would take a buck. When I read back over the bare bones account without all the extra details and nuances, I'm like, wow, this is pure horror. Reading it through the eyes of another mind, I can't imagine what they would think about all of this. I hate that this has been so defining in my life, but there's a lot I need to do for myself to make things better for me. I've had a lot of bad coping mechanisms, but I have held it together, so I'm pretty sure I'm a tough customer. If anyone has any questions about my story, feel free to comment or DM me. I'm not sure how much help I can be, but a little support and understanding can go a long way. Maybe you can learn from my mistakes. Cranach starts us off with the comments. Can you tell me why you are so married to her? What you get from this marriage, and more importantly, what all you have lost due to being married to such a monster? I mean, it is obvious that she isn't with you because she loves you. Maybe she's afraid of being alone or needs you for the money. Maybe she needs you to take care of the kids while she is out to have fun with her next boyfriend. But she is for sure not with you because she loves you. She gave up on you and your marriage a long time ago. You are not your father. While your father felt remorse for divorcing his wife, you get destroyed by staying with yours. How much longer can you take that before you break? The OP responds, I feel like such a moron on here. I see how this all looks. It wasn't easy just popping all this out into the internet. I've held on to it for 10 years. But you're right. I don't know how much more I can take. I'm grasping at straws. I threw myself out here knowing if I'd get. I needed to hear it from someone other than myself. Krenak responded to the OP. Usually, there are two different kinds of people coming here. The ones are those that got cheated on, know what they want, and what it takes to get there. Be it a divorce or the hard and tough way of true reconciliation, which you seemingly never walked with her. She hasn't even faced consequences. The others are those that are crushed and are looking for a way to fix everything and get back to what they had before. The harsh truth that those learn is, there is no way to fix what happened and that it will never again be like it was before. That the partner they once had no longer exists. You now need to decide to which group you want to belong, because it seems that you know that your best bet for a healthy future is divorce. But somehow, you are still holding on to hope that you can find a way to fix everything. On to the next story. Wife of 13 years cheated. My, male 35, wife, female 33, and I have been together since we were both around 20. Met her while in the military, and she moved across a few states to start our life back where I was raised. I had a very good job lined up, so we started our life. We have two beautiful boys, 11 and 8. From the outside, we look like the perfect family. I coach my oldest son's travel team, and I'm active in stuff around our city in sports. Have a great job, and my kids are great kids. Seems perfect until, in 2015, my wife had a minor breakdown and went to a doctor who diagnosed her as bipolar. Been on meds ever since. It seems manageable, but it's so hard to keep things even-keeled sometimes. Prior to having the breakdown and what led up to the breakdown was an affair. She would go shopping once a month, or something minor, and I would have fun with our young kids, who at the time were 4 and 1. She was a stay-at-home mom, so for a short time, I thought she just needed time to relax away from the kids. I noticed after the third trip that she hardly ever responded to texts. She would show back up with a few items, and you could tell she had been drinking. So, after a total of about 6 trips out, she had a mini breakdown, and went and got help. We could both tell she needed help for her erratic behavior and impulsive actions. On one of those trips, I was working a night shift, and when I got home at 5 in the morning, she wasn't home. Her excuse was she fell asleep on her friend's couch. From there, after the meds and therapy, she seems to have become a better person. The drinking stopped, the trips by herself stopped, but something wasn't right and I knew it. Fast forward to 2019. I remember my son telling me about a guy that had played with them at the park that day. My wife had said it was her friends, a group of them, that had met at a mom's club in town. The events took place around 2015, so, in 2019, after an intense fight, I decided I'm finally going to investigate what had happened. I find out the guy, contact him, and all hell broke loose. He tells me that my wife had him thinking they were a serious item for a few months. She had told him that we were in the process of getting a divorce, which was not true. He was straightforward and told me that they had seen each other roughly 8 times, once at my house while I was working. After confronting my wife, they both claim they broke it off, but I have no idea. After finding out, I packed my bags and prepared to move out and go with the divorce route. I contacted both parents, and both sets were supportive of me leaving. When confronted, she acted very sorry, said she would fix everything for our family, and that she would prove through actions. I was irate, extremely hurt, and felt awful for my 2 boys, who were about to have their life ruined because of my wife's selfishness and betrayal. I treaded water, made her answer an insane amount of questions, explained things in hurtful detail, which she did. And that broke me. It hurt so bad. So bad. I stayed for my kids and continued to do so, although I can't seem to get past what happened. It hurts so bad, and there are good days and very bad. My wife is very, very attractive, and she knows it. She cheated down, as this guy was a real piece of work, in a bad way. Today I'm torn. She has opened everything up, out in the open. And I do truly believe she hasn't gone back yet. But I can't help but think she won't do it again. I can't shake it. I hate this for my kids more than anything. I constantly think about the details and lose hope. I'm ranting, but we are the perfect example of a family that looks perfect from the outside, but everything is wrong inside closed doors. Supportive family. I just hate to lose my kids, who I love more than life itself. I guess I'm just ranting at this point. Thanks for listening. Any advice? And here comes the advice. Horror Section 50 starts itself. Please seek individual therapy and see a divorce lawyer to talk over the possibilities of getting the kids in custody if you ever choose to divorce her. Ask yourself, is she sorry because she cheated, or is she sorry because you found out? There's a difference. Personally, for me, cheating is a deal breaker and I would never take them back. You did not break your family, the cheater did. You're not a sate, you're a person who gets hurt. UOP responds back, I do believe she is sorry, and had a mini breakdown because of her decision to have an affair and run out on her toddlers. After she got on meds, her behavior did a 180, but it was years later that I had to do detective work and discover what had caused that random breakdown years prior. So, it's been 2 years since I've known, and I still think about it daily. I feel like less of a man, and I'm disgusted by her. I'm fighting for my kids, but don't know if I'll ever get past being able to trust again. Damn. Switchboard Friend has our next comment. One of the things that really bothers me is about her representing herself as being in the process of divorcing to the affair partner. You assume she was lying because you didn't get the papers and nothing tangible happened. You don't seem to have considered that she might have been honest with the affair partner, and in her head, she was strongly considering divorce. The betrayed partners are often the last to know. She was certainly chasing him and very keen to be an item with him. I'd bet that if he had been more forthcoming, that you would have found out that she wasn't lying to a affair partner. She would have divorced once she felt secure enough that there was a future with him. You were close to coming home one day to a house that had been emptied of belongings and an envelope with your name on it on the kitchen worktop. Her choice of affair partner was one of availability. She didn't pick him because he was amazing. She chose him because he was there. This isn't a great indicator of future loyalty. The OP's final response. I honestly do believe she contemplated divorcing, or she knew acting that way would only help her. She later told me that when she did it, she made sure it was out of our network and 2 hours away. He's been to my house once, apparently while I worked my ass off one night. You make a lot of good points. Very accurate, I feel. I think he didn't care either way, but she did say he'd begged her to leave me and be with him. For whatever reason, I guess post-breakdown, maybe she saw what she was going to do to her kids? I don't know.